if this will suit the taste of Caucasian people or general?
I think so, yeah. I think it's actually very versatile. It's really healthy, and I think it's got a lot of the colors and the flavors are really flavorful, but I think are broad enough that a lot of Caucasians would really enjoy it.
How familiar were you already with Korean food in general?
Just slightly. We do, on Delta, we do have a flight to Seoul. And as a part of that in BE, we specifically have one Korean meal offering. So we do a little bit, so we work with some of the chefs in Seoul to help with that. So I've had a little taste. I haven't been to Korea myself yet, but just very minor. So Korean barbecue, of course, is what I've had most exposure to. I think that's very American probably, but so that's my main experience.
Okay, and out of all the things that you tried, all the different dishes you tried today, what was your favorite one?
I really like the steamed seafood rice with like the kind of the spicy soy sauce flavor. Was really delicious, and I like the citron jelly at the end. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what if you had to pick one? What would be the improvement that needs to be made in order in order for food like this to be taken as a in-flight meal for Delta?
I mean, I think that we already offer some of similar styles. I think challenge is just you have a lot of different space constraints on board. I liked a lot of the first class box was really neat, but packing that into an aircraft, you have to jam a lot of different things, and also just the ovens are a little bit finicky. They're not as perfect as having your own oven or stovetop at home. So getting things to the right temperature and keeping the textures is also very challenging.
Okay. And one of the very important key thing for a food in-flight meal would be how easy it is to cook for just anybody who can cook, right?
Yes.
So on that front, I know you're not an expert in culinary arts,
right?
But what's your opinion on how easy Korean food would be to reproduce this anywhere in the world?
Well, from what I got to taste and experience tonight, it seems like a key is really good, fresh, quality ingredients, and we really strive for that. And the key is also to not overpowering with too many ingredients or too many steps. It really depends on which recipe. Some I think, because you're right, in our case, we're using really large catering companies that have to replicate many different meals. So it's not a super chef who's making for a family or for even just one restaurant. So it's more of you're producing quite a bit of meals. So you have to be able to do that over and over again and have that good consistency.
One last question. One quick question. So you know how the economy is going down, so the price of the ingredients are going up.
Yes.
So how does that affect the Delta flight, and how is that going to affect creating food like this?
That is a really big challenge. Commodity prices, everything all the natural, the raw ingredients for food, we're really struggling with trying to figure out how to balance that. But we really, customer service and a good quality product is one of our #1 goals. So we have to just try to find other places, maybe in the equipment or in non-produce or non-food places where we can try to balance it with an increase on beef prices in particular are really, really expensive right now. But that's important for us to offer to our customers because it's a good variety, and a lot of them really expect it, especially for the prices of their ticket they're paying on board. So we have to balance it, but we really try to we force our chefs to be a little more creative with other ingredients they can mix in and out. But we really strive to maintain the best quality we can.
So what would you say is the percentage of Asian food being successful to the general in-flight?
Overall, I think we have pretty good success. I think it really varies, I think, based on the flight. We fly to so many different Asian countries a day that and the customers change constantly. So on one flight, you may have people who really the palate appeals to them, and they love it, and we don't have enough of it on board because we have space issues, and some days we have too much. So again, it's just a balance, and we really look at getting the customer feedback, and we get feedback a lot from our flight attendants because a lot of them fly the same route frequently, so they can get us really good insight into how we can change it up.
How many different ethnic cuisines do you have available as a Delta as a whole?
That's a good question. I'll have to think about that. So we offer, we try to do a lot of regional focus, right? So we do offer a Korean meal to Korea. We offer a Japanese meal to, we have many flights. Narita is actually a hub of ours, so we do a lot of Japanese meals. We do a Chinese meal as well. We actually do some regional stuff into South America, some regional flair, and also into Africa, as well as we do special meals as just kosher or dietary restrictions. So we offer quite a bit of specialty type stuff, but we're working actually to do even more regional. So for people who are either from there or going there can get a taste of it and really to honor that culture that you're coming to or from. We'll always offer an American or Western type style, but we want to make sure people have the chance to sample something that's different and part of the travel experience.
And just as a regular consumer, what do you think the viability of Korean food being, I guess, successful with Chinese or Japanese food, like being commercialized and being just omnipresent everywhere?
It should be more places. We were discussing that at the table when we were trying it, because everyone's talking about you see so many Thai restaurants or so many Chinese restaurants. There's not enough of the Korean restaurants it's not as available to people, so they don't know about it a lot. So I think just being able to taste it and getting out there, because I think it's delicious and it's very very easy to eat, especially it's not too hot. You could probably heat it a little bit more if you wanted, but you don't have to. So that's really easy. And I thought it was really delicious. And the colors and the flavors, it looks really appetizing. So I think it would be great.